Welcome to Leo season. Are you ready to roar like a lion? Are you?
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. Leading out loud.
Hello, welcome to Leading Out Loud, the shift show serving spiritual realness and raw truth with a little bit of a wink. Ding! I am psychic astrologer Christopher Wotecki, the sensei to SeriousJoy.com.
And I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium with ScottCruzPM.com. So, Christopher, how was your week? We missed a week last week. It's been a lot of energy, right, going on last week. So, what's going on with you? How you feeling?
I had shingles. I had paralyzation on the left side of my face. I was like, I couldn't smile. Yeah, I was paralyzed on the left side of my face. I couldn't smile and talk. I couldn't pronounce things. Like, it was really messed up. That damn shingles virus. Yeah. And I think another conspiracy theory we can talk about someday, but I never even, people my age didn't get shingles until the damn vaccine came out, just saying. But, you know, I'm just saying. I mean, I remember my grandma and my grandpa and all that stuff. But it's horribly painful. It's really like, something probably engineered to kill you. I don't know. That's what it feels like. And I'm still in pain, but it's an excuse for pain pills, so it's good.
Yeah, I mean, you've actually recovered pretty quick, because usually, people drag it out for like a month sometimes. That goes on for a long time.
Oh, I went to war, dude, with supplements and everything. I went to war. I was like,
good.
I was pulling out, all the stuff from COVID, like ivermectin, like everything's just like eating everything. I seriously, I will say, I'll just say, because I don't know if you can get arrested anymore. I ivermectin, and it went down like 50% the first day.
Interesting. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't, my mom swears by it. She's into holistic medicine and all that great stuff. And she's used it too, and she's recommended it. So I don't know if I see, the thing is, people will just assume you're a Trumper if you, push that medicine. I just think, just understand, research the medicine, I would say, and see the effectiveness of it. But my mom swears by it too. We
are not medical doctors, just profound psychics that know the truth of everything.
Right. And just, we're not giving any type of medical advice here, just medical assumptions. Right.
I'm just sharing with you what I did. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. And by experience, I say sometimes people can, when a lot of people go to their doctors, I get a lot of clients and they just don't get the information. They don't get the right, tactic and right, synopsis. And so they don't know what else to do. So sometimes hearing other people's experiences is very beneficial. Like, oh, that works for me. Okay, let me try that. If it's not harmful, of course,
And sometimes the idea that you have a placebo and not even taking a medicine will make you cured. It's weird, funny, isn't it?
Well, isn't that funny that that actually exists, that the placebo effect actually is a scientific study, that people actually can cure themselves just by believing it? I mean, I'm not surprised.
I have to, anyways. 25% of the test group heals themselves for the idea that they might have the medicine, and it's like, and you're not marketing that.
Right. Why isn't that the advertisement there? Sugar pills. And so, how many real medicines actually are sugar pills? You know what I'm saying?
We'll have that at 11. But actually, we have a lot of retrograde energy. 11. We have a lot of retrograde energy going on in astrology, and the result in the world. We're going to talk about the lies we tell ourselves. But first, let's talk about truth or fiction in the public space with our newest game, Conspiracy Theories. We need music here. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
so
just
in this
imagine
little
that.
game, you're going to say, I guess, truth or fiction to each of these alleged conspiracy theories. Truth or fiction. Use your guides and your superpower, Scott. We'll wait here patiently and burn airtime while you figure it out. Are you ready?
Go. Let's hit it.
All right. Truth or fiction. Is Trump on the Epstein list?
I mean, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, they all can see that one. That's the truth. Come on.
Were they on the Epstein list? Okay. I'm not sure what on the Epstein list, does this assume, by the way, on the Epstein list that you ate babies in the whole 9 yards? Like, is that the assumption you're on the list? I don't know.
Well, I think there's a lot of different things. There's those who want to see prostitutes or have their massages and pretty girls, pretty women, and then there's the trafficking, then there's the child stuff. So it's very dynamical, of course. Yeah. So I feel Trump is on the list because of the fact that he likes to be pretty young, pretty girls, and like to have access to that through, of course, Epstein. So that's my vibe.
Okay, our next topic, was Clinton on the Epstein list, truth or fiction? I don't know. I mean, Hillary.
You know what? You know what's funny? Because like my mind says one thing, my vibe says something else. It's interesting. My vibe says no.
Huh? Interesting. That's because he paid.
My mind's like, oh, of course he is, but my vibe's like, no, I don't think there was any association there.
Yeah, I have to actually say, when it comes to Clinton, energetically, I don't feel like super gross young kind of stuff. Like I feel, like most men his age in Arkansas, down to 17, they're flirting with.
Well, and if you think like someone who actually does it in the Oval Office and it isn't really that professional, like to cover it up, you know what I'm saying? So they were that blatant about it, right? And someone who worked for him. So I don't think someone who has been in that kind of world would know how to cover it up. And so I just feel like he's just one of those horny bastards that, had an affair. And I don't feel an association or connection actually with Clinton.
Yeah. I think we've been made to think lots of things. Okay, what about the existence of a deep state? Truth or fiction?
Someone says Clinton's on the flight list. Did they release the flight list, the logs? We're talking about the files. I've seen files. So flight lists, I think, are different because there's many people on the flight list. We're talking about the files, right?
No, the files are having the list of the flight list. And, the stewardess and the captain were also on the files. It doesn't mean they had sex with kids.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah.
Like we're making big leaps. I'm not defending anybody, by the way. I'm not defending anybody or anything like that. But I'm saying,
who has a flight list?
Oh, you have to have a list of everyone who's on your flight whenever you fly.
No. I'm saying, but how does this person know that they're on the flight list? They released a flight list?
Yes, it's part of the evidence of the case of Epstein that's now allegedly being opened or not opened.
Okay, but like I'm reading the fact of whether or not there's connection with the whole P stuff.
Right. Correct, you are.
That's what I'm reading. So I don't feel associated connection to that. Whether or not they flow, and that's a different story. But so no, I'm talking about. I'm reading the fact of if there was the PDF files that he was associated with. I don't feel that with Clinton and the Epstein connection. No, I don't feel that.
Interesting. Okay.
So when I think the list, I'm thinking that. I'm not thinking flight logs. So someone's like, he's on the flight log. It's like, well, I'm not talking about the flight log.
Okay, well, that was the question, but it's okay.
Oh, it's an Epstein list.
We should have said flight log. We should have clarified. You're right. All right. So, and now what about, we'll go back to this. It was skipped over. Does the deep state exist?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And I think it's, I'm not going to get into this because I don't want to get too political because people here are very split in politics and they're very, very, very sensitive to politics, who come here. So I'm just going to say yes. And it's who you probably wouldn't think it is, actually. I
agree with that. It wouldn't be a good secret if it was known. What about the moon landing? Was that legit? Was that fiction or truth?
I'm not getting into this one. Nope. I'm getting a lot of slap back on this one. I feel two things. I feel both. I feel like it was altered, but also there's a genuine connection to it. So maybe things have been staged, but then yes, there also was an actual moon landing. But logically speaking, let's talk about this. We were able to do back years ago, decades ago, but then we can't do it now. Like, what's the issue there? So there's connections to the moon. Yeah.
Look at here. My biggest example is this. They have this like shot of the thing coming down and landing from the outside. Okay, TV cameras were the size of an armchair back in that day. There's no fucking way you can assign a TV camera to the side of a little aluminum leg tripod. It's just like there's so much. I personally agree with you. I feel like the original landing was fake and completely created because they were trying to race to the moon. They were trying to scare Russia.
Exactly. They were trying to be the first ones to do it.
And then I think when we actually did land, we fucked a lot of things up, killed somebody. There's like a lot of cover up there, like because we sucked at it. So I think there's just a lot of just scar tissue around that.
A lot of it, and I think there might even be like a base that they're using on the moon. There's a lot of other things I feel like that they're doing up there in the moon that you're just not making it very vocal about. So
yeah, I think they are making cheese. Okay, so what about the fact that there are reptilian elites on the planet? Are there reptilian elites? Truth or fiction?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're defining reptilian to be, right? And so if you actually really think like these people are lizard people and so forth, we'll keep that as what it is. But do I feel like there are people that have different agendas that come from different modalities? Absolutely. And I think that they have a specific intention of harvesting energy of people. They know how to do that. So if you want to call it reptilian, cool, that's a reptilian brain. But yeah, there are people that they know how to energy harvest. And so it isn't so much about money, it's about the power. So absolutely, there's reptilian, those types of elites in that sense.
Yeah. I agree. Most of them.
We can classify them as reptilians, but actually lizard people. I mean, that's going too far. But I get the metaphor.
I think we should just call them what they are, congressmen. All right, moving on. What about, are there aliens in Area 51?
Oh, it has been, yeah. Absolutely. I think there's testing done there in Area 51 too, alien testing, where they probably test aliens or vice versa. So I definitely feel so. I think that's where they kind of hide a lot of that type of connection. So I think that's a yes for me.
I would hope that we're smart enough. I hope we're smart enough to have moved it to Area 52 by now, because the whole world knows that 51 is like, really?
Right. Right. I think these are kind of obvious, other than, the flight, other than the obvious that people think if with the Epstein flight log, like, oh, they're guilty. It's like, not necessarily. Some people maybe went for a party and it had a social, but didn't necessarily engage with the things, so I think there's a lot of people like that.
I'll tell you right now, I'm a person where if someone's like, hey, you want to do something crazy, you fucked up, I'll be like, show me. I like to go in there as an investigator. I do. I'll tell you right now, y'all, if I'm on some fucking list, yes, I want to see it. I want to see what this is about. I probably went down there. Now, you'll see I did not do anything wrong, because my heart lives for itself, ever. My heart lives in my heart. But I do sometimes see how this thing works. Like, really? You got a what? Show me, Show me. I want to see what you're doing. And then I probably do something to work against it personally. That's who I am.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to do a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how our topic of inside job and what it means. But first, let's hear from our sponsors. From the creators of 40 Days of Past Lives and Karma and 40 Days of Self-Love comes the class you've been waiting for, an introduction to Step Astrology. That's right, I'm sharing some of my inside secrets on how to read a chart according to Step Astrology and help you interpret the stars, whether it's for yourself or for clients. Keep a lookout for us coming soon.
Are you a practitioner?
Season of Self-Love is just around the corner. Hi, I'm Gwen English, and I'm here to tell you about an exciting new offering at Serious Joy Academy. This year, as a companion to the 40 Days of Self-Love program that Sensei Christopher has gifted to the world, it's a new course called Heart Speak Oracle, a creative path to self-love. In this course, we will use collage as a way to connect to your heart and get messages from your subconscious, your higher self, and the unseen world about what your heart is wanting to heal and express in each step awareness. I am so excited. Self-love is around the corner. Swing by Serious Joy Academy and find out more. Live, love, be.
Okay. Well, that was Gwen English, actually, the principal of our Serious Joy Academy, which, Scott, we've like split off some of our company and just made a school. That's what we're doing, to keep it all in one nice little place. And we're teaching it's Insert Astrology, and she's doing an Oracle card deck based on the 40 Days of Self-Love. And this potent time of the year, what I found out once upon a time is that if you carry an idea in your heart from Leo 0, which was yesterday, all the way to Virgo 11, it pretty much happens automatically. It just happens.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even try, concentrate, do meditation, channel demons, nothing. It's just a simple 40-day exercise. So it's a journal exercise. The 40 Days of Serious Joy, the 40 Days of Self-Love are free if you're a Serious Joy subscriber for $3.99. Or if you just want to a la carte and pay for it on your own, you can come to Serious Joy Academy. That's all I have to say.
A la carte. All right. Tasty.
Yum. Okay, so you're not good with like little thingies. So let's talk about what's going on out in those planets and energy and stuff. I guess I'll open up this talk. We got a lot of things retrograde, man. Mercury went retrograde on Friday, 15 degrees Leo. That ultimately is that our mind will be rethinking what is a loving life anyways, what is fun. The sun obviously entered into Leo yesterday. We all felt that because we suddenly started checking our hair 40 times a day. We have a new moon tomorrow at 2 degrees Leo, which means you're going to invest in a new feeling about yourself, especially as it relates to self-love. Do you feel the love with yourself? Some people go, I love myself. Yeah, but do you feel it? Because if you don't feel it, it doesn't really count, actually. And Mercury will square Black Moon Lilith at 13 this coming Friday, July 25th. And so that'll probably be a shift show, some crazy stuff, and you'll realize it was all a bad dream. So overall, what this is the introduction to Leo energy for us, Scott. And what that means for the individual is it's a deep exploration of your heart. And if you loved yourself, you'd be happy. If you loved yourself, you'd be happy.
That's stupidly simple, right?
Yeah.
I feel too, we're coming out of a lot of conflict too in the individual level and collective levels too. And I feel like a lot of people maybe have been pushed to a limit within the past week of, patterns they've been doing before, subconsciously, unconsciously. And I feel like that's been brought to the table now. And I think that even if you guys have been going in the right direction and settling things in your lives and things going great, there was that little bit of a push of that unresolved that you've been having subconsciously to bring it to the table. So now is an important time as we're going, as you said, into Leo season to start focusing on heart-focused, heart-based. And that means really what you're feeling. Because I always say, when we talk about coming from the heart, it always sounds cliche to a lot of people, right? And so I'm just like, what do you feel? Like, what do you truly feel? Forget about the bumper sticker stuff. What do you feel? And are you just more consumed about what you're reading in the newspaper? Is that becoming what you're thinking about? Are you being defined by what you're reading and hearing? Because a lot of people I just see, especially in comments and chats, they're just parrots. You're just parroting bullshit. They're not actually doing any sort of intellectual thinking, right? So just parrots, and they think they're sitting on their throne with being a parrot. And so we have to understand there's nothing original about what you're repeating. So we got to understand now, moving into Leo season, originality. Like, what is your own particular specific voice? What are you doing to bring productivity and any type of change to those around you or society? Parroting stuff ain't going to get you anywhere moving to Leo season and in journey to even Virgo. So we have to understand what our unique expression is and stop parroting crap. Find your own unique voice, and that's important during this time right now.
That's right. Stop parroting crap. Find your own unique voice. No, but seriously, I agree.
That's like a bumper sticker, right? Stop parroting crap, all right? We're tired of these fluffy roses and unicorn bumper stickers. Yep, stop parroting shit.
We're way out of our heart. That's the issue.
Of course,
it's so simple to me, but so hard. I will, with a client, just drive them crazy. Be like, "What's your heart say?" Well, I think, "Shut up." What's your heart say? What's your heart say? Like, they can't get to the heart of the matter. The voice is just, the mind's taking over everything. Emotions feel so bad. You got to justify them, explain them, all these other things. You feel bad. You feel this. You feel sad. And the truth is this is the Leo season. So I feel that this Leo season. Here's my prediction. Do we have drum rolls, please? Oh yeah, do the cowboy thing. I like it. So. I believe that people are going to be more bored than they've ever been in their entire life in August. That's my prediction.
You think so?
Yes. Because I feel what's happening with the universe is it's taken away all the other drama, and you're left just. I mean, that's with Saturn going into Aries now, a new sign. They've all gone to new signs. So it's all new topics for the heavy stuff, which means you got no heavy stuff to dwell on, really, no new heavy stuff. And so, it's like in the summertime, the summer's over, you played every game, you've already gone to the pool 1,000 times. Like, it's that time where you're just like, something, please, like, give me something interesting. And if you're in that state, you're not connected to your heart. Because your heart will start to play with a napkin. Yeah.
I don't know. I get what you mean by boring. Like, there's because I think people are going to start realizing that they don't know it all. Right. And people definitely go online because they think they know it all. And so they don't know anything outside of what they're parroting, like I said. So I think what they're going to realize is that they don't have, for many people might be boring because they don't understand their voices. Right. Yeah. And so and now they're forced to hear the echoes of their own subconscious and their own truth. And I think there'll be a lot of people who will ride on that and bank on that and create a lot of great manifestations. And other people just be stuck in this whirlwind of stagnicity. Because they're not linked to the heart. The heart's going to push things forward. That's the feeling of such. So, I think for a lot of people will be mundane and boring who are stuck in that pattern for sure. But a lot of us be kind of like entrenched in our passions and entrenched in our work, and things will be blossoming. So I feel a lot of very busy energy, productive energy for the other half as well.
I agree. Actually, I agree. I went extreme on that. I feel I'm a little extra somewhere, but
you're right though about it. But you're right though.
I feel you're right in the sense that the people who are disconnected will be bored as hell, but I do think there's a huge generation that watch this show who is inspired, and you're going to find your creative inspiration just start to burst through the roof or through your chest and up around. And I've already felt that creative. Even when I was sick with shingles, I was like, if I could just get up and write, because I was being so inspired there, and it was kind of crazy. So let's get on to today's topic.
You should have made a shingle jingle. You should have wrote a shingle jingle. That should be something you brought to the table. We could be singing now. I mean, what the fuck, dude? Come on.
Once we figure out how that was researched and released to the public, I will. Christopher. It'll be like the Schoolhouse Rock of shingles. Jingles. Yeah. So today's topic is how and why do we lie to ourselves? How and why do we lie to ourselves? And, see, I'm so good at lying to myself, I don't even know I'm lying. That's how good I am. I'm a good liar. But what about like stuff with ego traps, for instance? Like, how do we lie ourselves about ego traps? How does that happen?
Well, you're not a lion, you're a bear. Well, look, I think a lot of times people lie themselves for so many different reasons. The main, catalyst is, of course, fear. But what is the fear? What are they fearing? A lot of people are very much, fear of actually, the first thing that comes to mind is acceptance, actually. There's a lot of people who are actually, they want the love, but they're afraid of what if I was actually accepted for who I am and I don't like who I am. So I'm going to parrot all this other fake shit and create this ego that I know it all online, right? Be the keyboard warrior, like a lot of people are doing, or repeat the news and think I know everything. And so there's the fake sense of power behind that. But what you're doing is just depriving yourself of growth, and you're also depriving yourself of truth. And also what's going on, we actually couldn't bring a great change. So I think those ego traps are just facades of those who really are afraid of true acceptance. Because if you can't accept yourself, of course, you're not going to allow anyone to accept you. You're going to run away from that. So I think it deprives us, these ego traps, they deprive us of true connection of self, true connection with others, and also with wisdom and intellect. Because when you find yourself, Christopher, and you know this, like, it's somehow your soul knows how to find intellect and how to extract wisdom from those experiences, right? And the information that you're getting. When you're not from the heart, you're just repeating stuff, and therefore it's very flat, and there's no progression, there's no expansion. So yeah, the ego traps is almost like that facade that is protecting you, but it's also not allowing you to get outside of your own world, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I take this word ego traps, except that your ego responds on its own without coordinating with the rest of you, and then suddenly you're trapped. Because your ego just jumped in without thinking. How high or how far. The next one is shame. How and why do we lie ourselves with shame? I don't know. Shame's a hard one. When you have shame come up, it's a hard one to dismiss.
Well, I think shame is a result when we lie to ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, somebody could feel like they're like, I'm too fat, and so they have shame about being fat, right? And so therefore they don't allow themselves to go out there and mingle with people or put themselves out there because they feel insecure, right? And so that creates shame in a sense of like they are coming from a place of shame, but it creates shame in a sense of that they don't really want to participate, they're afraid to, or they're embarrassed to. So yeah, I think a lot of these things are all deep within ourselves about whether or not we are accepting ourselves or not, right? And so the opposite of acceptance is shame. Like, you're embarrassed, you're ashamed of that in a sense. So I think that comes from a lack of acceptance of self, which is internal. That's the internal job, right? You don't accept yourself, you will be shameful of whatever you're doing, who you are. You won't own it. And you'll start, like I've been saying before, parroting stuff to make yourself feel better.
I feel shame is a construction of the Catholic Church in the sense that if you're born a sinner, you already should be shamed. I mean, you're shamed from the very beginning. It's like a tool to keep yourself down. But what's underneath it is something no one notices. If you fall shame, you're saying the world knows better than you do. Does the world know better than you do? It's your creation, is it not? Why would the world know better than you do? So you're basically saying the world knows better than I do whenever you allow yourself to feel shame. Now that's very true. I still fell into it all the time. What people say, kind of thing, which is far worse. I'd rather just have people say it at that point. You usually beat yourself up so badly.
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah, but the shame is you're allowing everybody else to be the dictators of your happiness, not yourself. Everyone else is dictating how you feel about yourself. And it's gotten to a point now, Christopher, as you know, people are letting like media dictate who they are, a politician dictate who they are, a breakup define who they are. All these circumstantial, vapid shit they're letting to define themselves. And I'm like, that's not what defines you. Your experience and the wisdom you obtain from those circumstances is what defines you. And the fact that no one's extracting that wisdom is defining that they're not being very smart. They're going to continue to make those decisions that are not wise, that are bad for them, and put them more in shape, which also will actually create more guilt. Guilt is a big one in people.
You bring up guilt. So tell us about guilt.
I mean, oh gosh, there's so many different variables of guilt. I always say, coming in our, industry or realm, whatever you call it, world, spiritual world, there's a lot of people who have guilt and harbor guilt because of being an empath, being a feeler, feeling of other people, feeling for other people, right? Two versions of being an empath. You feel people's emotions, and then you can actually, obtain what they're feeling psychically. But then there's also an empath who actually feels for people. And so there's different variables. Many empaths feel for people and also feel people, and they have guilt because they can't fix it. They can't change it. Again, external. All external. I can't fix that. I can't fix them, but I need validation from them to make sure I feel good about I'm being empathetic enough and loving enough. It's like, that's going to create more guilt because you're actually guilting yourself into not working on the self and working on the internal voice, right? Your internal intellect, right? And so a lot of empaths are doing that. They're still playing the external world game. and I have to fix it. I can feel them, so I have to do something about it. It's like, if you want to ride in guilt, then make yourself responsible for others. But, again, no one else is holding the spoon to their mouth and they're eating that crappy food. They are. So there needs to be some sense of enlightenment to other people to have empowerment so they can do it for themselves as we do for ourselves. So.
Okay, I agree. I feel guilt is almost like a autoimmune disease of consciousness. It's like it starts attacking you and yourself as a means of holding yourself back. Like it's like you should feel guilty. Why? Why should I feel guilty? Like you should. And I think the secret to guilt is should. Replace should with could. I think your guilt will go away.
Yeah.
You should be guilty. You could be guilty. Also with the court of order, guilty, innocent, like you're just beating our head. Guilty, not guilty. Guilty, not guilty.
Right.
Brainwashed like over and over again with these two words. But it's all someone else's opinion holding you back.
Well, guilt is debilitating. It actually keeps you stuck. Because there's no sense of pride that comes from guilt, right? So then you're shamed with the religious karma, that bullshit, right? And so now in the New Age communities, now you're not thinking positive enough, so there's guilt there too. So there's all this like psyops embedded in our psychology and in our culture that keeps us in guilt, but that's actually the anchor that holds you down. If you feel guilty, that's shame, and that's also again creates ego traps, which keeps you from being in tune with yourself and having your own voice, your own movement. How many people are living their moms and dads? Some people are sitting on the couch and they're woe is me, but they're actually living their mom's intellect, their mom's experience, or their dad's experience, not their own.
Right.
Because of their own guilt.
And the cross-dressing, that did it too. What about people?
Yeah, they wear mom's panties too.
What about people pleasing? A fluffer. That's not people pleasing.
Well, as someone who had a job of a fluffer in my 20s, that's what we were saying before about the empath, right? Just we need to people please, and a lot of people find their identity based on how they make someone feel, right? If I did something for someone, they validated me, so then therefore that's my identity. And so when people find identity through people pleasing, again, that's detaching from the self, because if you run into a problem like we said before, Christopher, that people cannot fix that person, then their value goes like this. Mm-hmm. It's all external, and so the internal value gets lost. They don't focus on the internal value. So the people pleasing, the fluffer, so to speak, is just enabling the same energy of not looking at the self, not looking about, and there's a fear. A lot of people have fear about that because they feel like everything they've been raised with, Christopher, and that was their crutch. They've been comfortable with that. You take that away from them, they don't know how to stand, even their negative beliefs.
Well, first of all, nobody's in the world is pleased, so it's a very easy job to be good at, a people pleaser. Like there's endless sorrow and there's endless unhappiness. There's endless. So it's like you can just go on for all night with that concert. Although I think people pleasing, as someone's quite charming himself, can often be manipulation, have other tactics besides my insecurity. Don't assume to please you that I feel bad about myself. That'd be a wrong assumption. Right? There could be many other things while you're entertaining your guests, so to speak.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, people use people pleasing as a way to, again, that conditional satisfaction, right, and so forth. It's just they just say the right things, reel them in, they just get the attention. So again, that was the other end of the empath is a narcissist, right? So that's what the narcissists do.
Allegedly, but those are extremes. I think
very extremes.
People pleasing can be quite subtle. If you just say the right thing about to your wife about tomorrow, you're off the hook. You're like, just a tiny little thing. And then our final one is imposter syndrome, which I've never had imposter syndrome, honestly. I'm not sure. Have you?
I mean, I don't really, I guess I can understand what it is just by reading the title. I'm not familiar with the imposter syndrome, but I assume it's someone who puts on an identity that's false in order to make themselves feel better about themselves. And so they start believing their own version that they've created. And so they just remain detached. I mean, that's what it means. And I would assume I've never had that experience. Matter of fact, I've always been, given shit because I think outside the box or do things outside the box. So I always get criticized. So I'm like, I don't care. So I even more so do the opposite. And there's a power behind that. There's a power behind, standing and not being affected by those who condemn you for being yourself, right? So, but I think those who have the imposter syndrome, again, find all these different characters of what people think, whatever they think people should like from them or want from them. And so they adapt into that. And I see a lot of people like that. They're just like, whatever you want me to say, whatever you want me to do, whoever you want me to be, it's like, there's no backbone there.
I feel imposter syndrome is when, you grow faster in popularity and authority before you have earned it.
Yeah.
And so you become like this expert overnight success. And that's the imposter syndrome. You're like, wait, I don't really belong here with this. You don't. And you question, did I lie to get here? Did I do something wrong to get here? And the answer is no. The idiots put you in power. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so to speak, is what happened. And so that's how it happens all the time. And I'm not saying all people are idiots. I'm just saying people who wouldn't have really done the due diligence to find out, you know?
Right.
We have one more, and then we've got to talk about what's going on in your shows this week and whatnot. But can you actually fake it till you make it? That's the question. Can you fake it till you make it?
I hate that. I hate that phrase. You know, I hate that phrase is because like we are everything, right? You're whatever you want to be. So it's more about getting comfortable with. If you want something, I always say that's a spec sheet. Your desires is a spec sheet. If you want on the soul level, there's a reason why you have that resonation with the vibe of that energy, because you either had it before in a past incarnation or you start experiencing that in this incarnation, right? So I think you're not faking it. I think that if you understand to evolve into something, you practice it. So I would say practice it until you make it. And then you start realizing, oh, I evolved. You know, I've adapted. You know, my intellect has broadened. So I think that's a way for like maybe, you know, lower IQ people to understand to fake it till you make it, just to push them in that energy. But that's not really what we're doing. We're practicing.
Yeah, I think someone lowered the bar with that one. They're like, you know, Serious Joy, we say you must be what will come. Like,
right.
You must be it now. I didn't say fake. Be it. Do it. Be it. And if you can't be it, you don't get it. Like
right.
It's very fair, but I think some life coach somewhere is like, you know, you just fake it till you make it, you'll be fine. You know, like
right.
It became like some sort of cheat sheet thing that evolved out of things. So,
but that's what I think. That's where social media spawned from. Now they're all faking it. They're faking it with AI, with their filters, with their lips, and all this other stuff. They're faking it, but they're not making shit.
Yeah, not creating original anything.
It's not real. Yeah, it's fake.
Yeah, interesting. Well, what does it mean to be a mystic in the modern era? We'll get to this right after a break, which is the wrong script. Let's talk about Scott instead.
That has been stuck in there for the past 3 freaking weeks. That line. But, you know, being a mystic in the modern era, it does require you to do a vibe and a detox vibe, right? And a detox from your soul, spiritual energy. So tomorrow on my live show, I'm talking about Vibe Detox 2.0. How do you clear out the energy, and how do you get to be discerning enough to understand the crap that's lingering energetically? So I'll get into depth with that tomorrow as well, tomorrow night, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I also be doing live readings at that time, so you can see me in action. So I welcome skeptics to come in, because I like to prove you wrong, right? So, but if not, if you want a private one-on-one session, you can visit my website, scottcruzpm.com. We have a little bit of a announcement about that too.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
He cut that thing off short.
Oh,
he knew. He knew.
He knew that now, buddy. You know, honestly, folks, I would not be navigating this transition of new reality alone. You're not qualified. We've been learning about Fruit Loops and you know, Frosted Flakes as far as what is nutrition. And the truth of the matter is, even us who are professionals are only like good at one thing we've noticed, like, because it's so big, consciousness, right? So there's a lot of programs, a lot of people like Scott, I think, you know, team up. This is the time to learn. We're waking up, and the universe is supporting that now.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that people, we've gone from like, there's atheists out there, but now even the atheists are kind of like believing in something metaphysical, not so much God. So they're like more open, because I watch a lot of atheist Christian and atheist spiritual debates. I love that. And I love speaking with atheists, or those who don't believe in the spiritual realm. I love to. And so, but I find a lot more open to understanding different ideas of that nature. So I think we're evolving, where people are becoming more, there's something out there if they didn't believe in anything. And those who are kind of believing it are really believing it now. So there's been a huge evolution with the spiritual consciousness, for sure.
I feel so. I mean, I'm seeing it all in my clients too. I don't know. I'm going to go off on a line here, because I think we just finished the show. And that is, I'm just kidding. But have you noticed any kind of upgrade in your bandwidth to heaven or consciousness or whatever?
You know, I always feel that, because I'm always like microdosing every little change and like self-reflecting. And I just had a major one this past weekend too, like just a huge, like, that's an old version of me. Like, really, it's done. Like, so I definitely had a bandwidth, you know, especially with comes of vulnerability, you know, emotional vulnerability even more. And yeah, I had a huge expansion of that. And it was like a little bit of a little piece of old Scott Cruz that was lingering that came out and caused a very chaotic moment. And I was able to to look and say, that's done. We're done with that completely. So definitely an upgrade. And that's an emotional thing that was kind of, still having that little bit of a Puerto Rican Italian chip on my shoulder that I was able to kind of fully flick off, the lingering essence of it. So yeah, I feel huge at peace now because of that, and just more calming, I would say, not so edgy for the unnecessary reasons. I will always be edgy with rants, but yeah.
But we noticed it in the ratings. But just kidding. I agree. Actually, that's the work of Jupiter in Cancer. I feel what you're talking about, friend. Where we are emotionally maturing. Jupiter is forcing us to emotionally grow up. And people always think grow up is in terms of child to adult. Oh no, there's all kinds of levels of growing up emotionally. For instance, I saw in one case a young man who had a past life as like a war general, seriously, and thought he was the shit, and so it's just sort of walking through life, expecting to be sort of idolized. And it's like, that's an emotional maturity. That's an emotional expectation based on the old, right? And so the fact that you are leaning in with old feelings to control the new is immature, right? It's sometimes subtle. I have had some real, energetic shifts in the sense of, I don't know how to describe it. Just my ability to feel out in the cosmos is like longer, Also, there's a lot of stuff now where people are like, oh no, this is happening and this is happening and this is happening and this is happening. And I used to be like, no, it's not. And I'm just like, like not even being rude to them. Just like, this is an old game. I don't feel like anymore. It doesn't hook me anymore. It doesn't get me anymore. It doesn't excite me anymore. Like, wow.
Right.
Just so over it kind of thing. So
and that's exactly what I felt about this lingering version of myself. I'm over that, being in that energy, because, I was very like OCD perfectionist. I got that from my dad. My dad even has grown out of that too. And just getting so frustrated, things to be perfect in the right time. And like, I had a moment where just like it came out and I realized it's starting to affect things. That affects my life in a negative way. That has to go, and I'm ready to let it go, and that was a big one for me, actually. And so, more heart focus, less expectation, and enjoying the moments of things that I'm in. So, and that sounds very cliche too, but when you understand that, what it is to enjoy the moment, you really understand what it feels like to be in that state. It means 10 times more and it's more palatable than just hearing the term being in the present. When you know it, you understand what that is. It's amazing.
One thing I've noticed about being in the present too, is that I feel the universe around me reacting with me. Like, I'm not kidding. It's like I'll come to a moment and suddenly the wind will blow and the wind chimes will ring. And it's like, I don't know where, I'm in the middle of the desert, So that's spooky shit, where I'm like, yes, that's going to be it. That's what I'll do.
It's Native American town down there. It's very Native American land. So
that's my neighbors. Oh, sorry. But seriously, I've had interaction like with the moment, like the reality in that sense. And a lot of things that used to just make me, waste the entire rest of the night, I'm just like, maybe not. Now, what it does mean is like the people caught in the old script, they just think I am getting worse and worse by the minute. So there's that. But for the first time, I'm like, I don't care if you think that. Go ahead. There's just a not caring anymore. Cancer is care. And what I'm finding with Jupiter Cancer is I care less and less. Not that I'm cold-hearted. I'm not cold-hearted, but I'm just not going to care about this. I'm not going to care about that. That care is sending energy. And energy feeds things and continues things. And so it's time to not care, I think.
Well, and that's true. And I was caring way too much about other people in our field that are bullshit and just horrible and just give bad representation. I was like, I got to fight that out and expose it. I'm like, why? Just like, I'm just going to focus on my emphasis of me, because it's like, it does suck. We don't have a lot of good representation in our field. I would say that it sucks. And so, but I also feel like, when you have the good ones out there doing that, it really shows a difference for people and it makes us stand out more. And so I stopped caring about that so much, and more so about, what's my own expression in that regard. And so that makes me feel more content, and I feel like at some point when we expand, and I think when you think expanding, we kind of like fill the globe, right? We expand our bubble, and then people, because you can be a louder voice. But when we start focusing on those other things, Christopher, it slows us down. It really does, because it's like, I'm going my direction. Oh, but what's this over here? What's that over there? And then we just slow ourselves down. We're pivoting. And so we got to like almost have that kind of tunnel vision to a certain degree, understanding if it lines up purpose or not. And I think that we accelerate things and we accelerate manifestation.
I agree. I see people, for instance, the last couple of weeks where, someone would say, it's just like hearsay, he said, she said bullshit, gossip stuff. Ugh. And the person's like, well, if that person's going to think that, he needs to know that I'm a this. He needs to know. And I'm like, why does he know? Who cares? Why does this person need to know? The idea that you have to tell them and get them right is you now being the slave owner. Now you're playing the role of the slave owner.
Right.
You got to tell your slave the way it is. That's got to obey you. And so you fall right into the person that you are mad that hurt you in the first place. And, I'm using the word slave a lot because I want the word to calm the fuck down.
Right.
In the sense of it's been way escalated. Everyone has let themselves be enslaved by, the credit unions, like, even though I was even thinking, the other day my credit went down because my credit will go down if I pay off my card too fast. My credit will go down if I, it's kind of designed to always go down. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what I'm doing, it's like this game that keeps moving. And I thought about in regard to like a lot of things we've been doing, that's the same thing. We've been trying to win some sort of game, some sort of credit game with who? Right. And I found in the last couple of weeks, I've finally been liberated from, getting caught up emotionally in any of those games. I'm not anymore.
Right. I think the games are external results. Like, we have fun with the games when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Like, those external games are fun. They end up working your favor anyway. Right. So many people are so entrenched about money, so focused on money so much. I'm like, well, that's the game of money means that you're either creating value or you're not creating value. You're creating things that people appreciate or you're not. You either appreciate what you're doing or you don't. And so, I would say just like tangible money, when things appreciate, the value goes up. And so create things that you appreciate, create value. And then you'll obtain the game and be successful in the game of money, And so, and I've always, in my life, never had a hard time financially. And I always did stuff that I felt that I loved and I knew that I need to do next. I always did well financially, no matter what I was doing, where I was at. We always have down moments, right? Because I had moments of not valuing the self. But yeah, when we focus on the internal job, the internal gig, about what we value, what we appreciate, and we express that, all the other physical shit becomes like easy to maintain. Easy.
Yeah, totally. Well, then there's I can't tell you how many times I can tell you, but I believe now that we are not we're not this spiritual thing, blah, blah, blah. We're basically in a game. I believe that we're in a spiritual game and that we are here to play that game and win it. And by the way, the game is spelled GAIM because it's all about the full name. Like, yeah. And so really nothing matters, I feel like, at the end of the day. And that was something I went through, in the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think people felt it. And they were like, ew, what's going on with him? Because I was just like, wait a second, none of it matters at all. I got through that and I was just like, seriously, I was just like, screw you. Like, everything I just saw was all part of the game. And at that point I felt liberated and then alone, like, nobody's out here with me? That kind of thing too. Like, it's all over the map because it's Cancer energy. Now we're in Leo though. So with Leo, I want to talk, we're talking about, how we can betray ourselves. And I think when it comes to love, we do that a lot. Because I just want to throw this out there. So when it comes to love, people go, oh, I love it, right? Well, I don't know. Because is your mind liking it because it fits in all the places? Is your mind liking it because it's an affordable price? But are you really loving it, which means there's a different relationship with the heart and it than there would be otherwise. And I think that we fall for the idea of love much more than we actually are in love. What do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, the idea, I think people are trying to pacify deprivation of love. So a lot of people were deprived of love as a child, and so they've been seeking love. So like, I have to fill that hole. So I've been love deprived. So that's going to make me fill that hole. And so, yeah, they start seeking the external validations and the conditional love because the circumstance, they need the circumstance, and they don't recognize, and I had to learn this the hard way in my evolution through my abuse, conversion therapy, cult trauma that I've experienced in this incarnation, that I fuck everybody else. I'm going to do it for myself and love myself and find my own power through myself. And that's the most liberating, more highly in tune. You become more wise about things around you. You want to seek more wisdom. And so, because you find that internal love, that core internal love within. And then you start realizing, I don't need the relationships to feed me that love. I would want that. Like, I've been in partnership now and moved in together because I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a life where I want to kind of express that with the person, another person. So yeah, I think many people are just, they're love deprived, and enough to understand that if you didn't get the love from people, you're not going to get it from people either. You got to get it from yourself first. Agreed. And then you'll mingle with people who know how to express it and share the energy. Because again, when you're in the state of love, people don't understand. In the state of love means you're in full acceptance of self and acceptance of what's around you, right? And so in the state of love means that you're sharing that energy. You're not pulling or giving and swapping it. You're sharing it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think when people fall in love, it's not that. It's that this person they found loves all the stuff about them that they didn't love before. And so now through them, they can vicariously love that part of themselves, and they're in love. Right. It's like you bridge like this out area back in kind of thing. Right. But the reality is you are source, you are creation. If you don't love yourself first, nothing will love it either.
Of course. Well, there's so many people too, because they've been so deprived of love, they became okay saying, I'm okay being alone. I'm okay not having anybody. I'm like, well, you're not going to feel that way when you pass on and have your next karmic experience. You're going to now need to understand what it's like to have people around you and not isolate, because isolation is the other end of the spectrum, where I think people just find it comfortable in that uncomfortable energy. It's like isolation is still self-depriving and self-deprecating. Like I said, deprecating is self-defecating, because we do take a shit on ourselves when we isolate ourselves and say to ourselves, no, I don't deserve it. I'm good being alone, watching my television, drinking my coffee and tea. I'm like, are you really from a higher level, or are you just living in a loop? And when people live in a loop and they realize they're in a loop and they snap out of it, it's like it could be very devastating for a lot of people, but also very liberating too.
Oh, I knew I was in a loop all the time. I mean, I have a brain that just, I don't know, I was wired that way from a past life, but I could see a kid like, here it is again, right. I could see the patterns. Absolutely. The most critical thing, honestly, folks, is the way you create reality in my research is it's all in how you respond to yourself. That's it. Your response to the world means nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Okay. It means it does nothing. It means nothing. And yeah, maybe two people started getting into a fight and they'll bicker. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't change your life. Does nothing. Waste your time. You are creation. You are God. If you react to anything but you're an idiot. Basically in the God consciousness, not to the world, but because you're the one making it happen. So why would you be yelling out the window?
Right.
Right. We have been taught this, though. We've been taught this. So it's not our fault.
Well, what I say about that too is whatever you react to, you relate to. So if you're pissed off at someone being a certain way, well, that's your energy, babe. Because if you're relating to that energy, you're reacting to that, you relate to it, means you are it. You have some of that energy built in within yourself that's unresolved. Yes. And that's how people react to me. Oh, I love you. You're so great. I love you. And I'm like, you're awesome, Scott. I'm like, well, you're awesome, because if you can resonate with the energy of awesome, you're awesome too. It's like, so what we react to, we relate to. And so I think it's important for us to really understand that. And so when I learned that a long time ago, anytime I would react negatively to something, I'd say, what's going on with me? Like, what am I doing? That's really making me, relate with that person that I don't like. Right. And that's where I've done a lot of change and realizations too, and growth too. We need to understand it's all us we're reacting to, actually, not the other people.
You ever see people like go down a session? Ooh, that person, what are they doing? How are they gonna? They go down this path. Like, what is this? A dark scene from Disney? And they go down and they like the face shadows, and they come back like, I'll tell them. And I'm like, whoa, what was that? A lot of times I love watching people. I'm just like, this would be great for the show, But like, in that case, a lot of times, like, because my psychic awareness is like on all the time, as is yours, and I'll instantly go, you know what you just saw? That was you in the last life. Like, that was you. That person you hate was you. A lot of times we take versions of ourselves that we hate and we make them characters in our current life, because we want to see just how ugly we were.
Yeah.
How nasty it was. And that's why we're so personally offended that this person did that. Because you're really ashamed that you were an ass in the last life. And you're seeing it here and you're like, no, please don't show me what I was. And then that's where gaslighting really comes from, in my opinion, is that you're seeing yourself, and so you're blaming them for what you've done. Like, it's a paradox. Right. That's the hall of mirrors that we call life,
Absolutely. And we subconsciously automatically do this. So if we have unresolved trauma, like say if someone's, was, abused by their father, in a sense, right? Just random example. And they subconsciously and automatically will put that person that they have unresolved with, they'll create that in every other person in their experience. Meaning, like, they'll meet a lover like that, and the friend like that, a coworker like that, a boss like that, until they recognize, I'm kind of tired of this energy. I'm kind of tired of dealing with this energy, and it's time to evolve out of this intellectually, right? And so we will actually, it's on autopilot, we'll create that entity in everybody else. And that's why everyone says all men are cheaters, all men are abusers. Like, in your world, maybe that you're creating, but like in my world, I don't have that experience, right? And so it's so mind-numbing when we do this. We actually think, and it's so irrational, that the whole world is that way. That's how blinding, those unresolved can be,
It's incredible. I just wonder when these kind of games will drop. In this Leo season, as we go into, if your heart if you don't feel better and relieved, you're not moving forward correctly. I mean, the heart is like such a compass. It's like, if I said to you right now, which would you rather eat, raw turtle meat or a hamburger? What is it, Scott? Your heart knows exactly it's the raw turtle meat. No one has to tell you that. The point is, like, that knowing of the heart, it may seem simple and childish, but it's your truth. Mm-hmm. Heart likes it. That means you're like it.
Yeah, I like what a commenter said. Like, life is paradoxical. Once you understand the format of life being a paradox and duality, then you pretty much understand how to live your life and master it, and not obtain physical things, and actually really feel out what your own purpose is. And that's from the heart. That's the peace people talk about. That's the flow people talk about, not the flow of like, oh, I manifested something because I said it 567 times. I manifested money and the boyfriend. That's not peace. It's that peace that we're talking about. That's a true peace. And then you manifest those things easily. Life becomes like your playground.
Totally. And I think for this next week, I just want to put out there, since people are watching and saying, damned, that, that this week you pay attention to how you respond to yourself. Like, oh no, I broke this mirror. So fucking what? Like, in that moment, you want to be the coolest parent in the world. Like, fuck it, baby, who cares? Like you have to bring that part of you that is like, God, like I created all this. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to make it matter anymore. Catch yourself in the act of creating drama is what happens. And instead, just love yourself. Go, I love me. I get away with it. Now, you may think a narcissist is built that way, but they're not, actually. It's different. Their ego's overcompensating. They're using the world in the game to convince you. Right. To convince you. They're idiots. They don't realize they don't have to convince us. So narcissists, you're idiots. You don't have to convince us. You can change the world without even talking to us, actually. Right. And that's what we're coming to be. So this next week might be the hardest. Just want to put that out there, Scott. Like the hardest in the sense of you might have something, you might remember something you're so ashamed of, and you just can't think about it. It just makes you feel so bad. And it's like, well, time out. Why are you making yourself go through all this? Why are you making yourself watch a horror film? Is it going to change God, impress your first wife? No.
I mean, really?
Why?
Shit.
See, it's like you should realize it's like you're doing it because that's what they want you to do. Who's they? The ones who are stealing your money, the ones who are doing this. And there are ones doing that, by the way.
Yeah.
A business plan, not a conspiracy.
Yeah.
So get your head out of your ass and start loving yourself. That's my final.
Well, and the goal is to be objective and unaffected about everything. Like if you're just objective, like, hey, like I'm here growing as a person, and I always use the simple bike analogy. When you're a kid riding a bike, you fall off the bike, you don't condemn yourself. You weren't damning yourself or look back and say, God, I was so stupid I fell off that bike. You understand you were trying to learn that. You were young. And so we're evolving as a soul. So we have to understand too, we're learning lessons as well. We can't beat ourselves up because we didn't get it right or we did something wrong. Like that judgment is not in the state of love. Judgment. That's not being in love. No. Say, okay, no. I did that, so we can maneuver here. Let's pivot here now and go this direction too. And we need to maintain that during this next week in that objective, unaffective energy, because I think it's going to allow us to see a bigger picture, and we become less judgmental about other people because we understand that they got a whole process that they're fucking going through, and it makes sense when you understand their process. Everyone takes things so freaking personally all the time because they think it's all directed at them. It's like we're not that important, to be honest with you, to other people. Yeah. We're really not. No one really cares what you're wearing. No one's paying attention to that. So, and so that's a lot of arrogance that's built in on, unintentional arrogance built in because we're not being objective of our own evolution. So, I agree with you. It's important that we do it this week. And I was always ahead of the astrological curve, so I kind of did that difficulty and called it out. So I guess I have to, counsel my own clients about how to do so. But yeah, I agree with you on this week coming ahead. It could be challenging, but also be very healing and releasing too.
I just
if you do it right.
I don't think you get it. That you are the one creating this, so why did you write in that scene where you're hurting yourself?
Yeah.
Why are you writing these scenes? Because you've been told to and brainwashed to, and told that there's like some sort of like outside thing you have to do to make the inside work. And so I think we're on the precipice of a major, interesting epiphany. We didn't want to call it Renaissance. I don't know if we've been talking to you, Scott, with it. Like, it's not a Renaissance, but it's like it's something where I don't know what it is. There's going to be a great Wittekism there. Some word that means like that you've taken back your creative control of your reality.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing too. Everyone just talks about this Matrix thing. They're a slave to the Matrix. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the Matrix. Like the Matrix is the game board. Like I like to compare it to a game of chess, right, Christopher? Like we play chess. There's rules and parameters of the game of chess, and there's opposition. We get to have the free will choice of how we move our pieces. We're in a Matrix means we're bound to the parameters of physical 3D reality and the laws associating with such. And there are opposition in our collective reality as well that we have to understand how to play the game to maneuver against. So we again win the game, right? And so this is what the Matrix is. We've all co-created this Matrix. It's not some random person that created this Matrix that we're a slave to. We all collectively, unconsciously co-created this in our collective consciousness because of our own fears, evolutions, and experiences. So if you don't like the Matrix, that's you saying that you don't like your own reality and your own world and what you're creating for yourself. And so we're all equal participants of the creation of this Matrix.
I completely agree. It organizes around the way you treat yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just made this major mistake that hurt somebody. Oh, I need to punish myself. Okay, go with the punishers. It's like, that's it. You decided.
Yeah.
Now, there's so many things wrong with that statement, including punishment doesn't get you anywhere. It gets you worse, right? But it comes down to, I would say for the next 7 days, if you have the courage or intelligence to do it, I'm using ego games here, then try just being nice to yourself every time. Every time, every day, everything, everywhere. Just be nice and loving, be super sweet, and just love yourself every time, no matter what it is. And I take myself to extreme. But what if I run over a family of 10 and then back up on them and then put pepper sauce on them? I still forgive you, kid. I just keep pushing it, because your mind wants to go, but what if, and just get it out of your system. Because I feel like that's the pressure point. People feel deep inside they have to please someone else to love themselves. They want permission from out the outside world to love themselves. Can I love myself, Scott? Can I love myself now? If I please you, can I? You guys caught in that, wasn't it? Like, what's he doing?
No, I mean I agree with that. It's a people pleasing thing, and it's just so it's actually very isolating if you think about it, because you're not really allowing yourself to expand if you're in the people pleasing conditional circumstantial expression, and so and I think a lot of this has to do again with us understanding that how are we participating, and when we say love ourselves, I think people just like yeah again, it's cliche, love yourself. I know we hear it all the fucking time. We see the bumper stickers, we have to live, laugh, love, fucking pills everywhere. It doesn't work, right? So it's like love just means you're putting love into whatever you're doing. If you fucked up your body and you're overweight and you don't like it, put love into your body. That's loving your body, not just saying, okay, let me just love my fat. It's like, no, you don't have to love your fat, but put love into your body so you stop creating more fat. Put love into your social experience so you start creating, relationships and connections. Put love into it. And so many people miss the mark when they say about loving themselves. They think they're supposed to love the badness. It's like, no, putting love into it will evolve it and change it. So that's being in the state of love. And it's important now, Leo time, to really understand that what it is. Otherwise, like you said in the beginning, Christopher, people be bored or not knowing nothing's moving in their life, if they don't do that.
Right. You're going to be bored. Yeah, absolutely. And the love is the thing. Sometimes the most loving thing is the hardest thing. It's like, okay, they just told you you're getting lung cancer and you do love to smoke cigarettes, but you're getting lung cancer. If you really love yourself and you really want yourself to have a good time, what's the answer? And a lot of times it's something hard. And that's the difficult one, that full well you've been cheating this whole time in lots of different areas. Right. And just buying your time. But if you really loved yourself, you wouldn't do it anymore. So prove it or get off the pot.
Yep, right? Piss, go to the pot. Come on now. Let's do this, right? And so it's simple. It's a very simple formula. And again, so many we say this all the time. When people get in a state of love and they want to focus, they're afraid of being selfish. I'm saying, and we always say when you come from the heart, it's not selfish because you naturally want to share it. You naturally want to participate and express that. And when you're, again, in the state of love, it expands. That's a positive energy. Positive energy is an expansive energy. Negative energy is a disconnecting, separating energy on the fundamental level of what those negative and positive means. So when you're in a state of love, that's a positive energy. It means it expands. So it means it has to go outside of yourself. So don't be afraid of being selfish. Totally. It's okay. Well, you might have to for a little bit.
You are selfish. You're not controlling any other person on the earth ever. You're just yourself, period.
Yes.
You're not supposed to be we-ish. Why would you be weird? You're selfish. Totally. And here's the other thing. If you need another person, yes. Like I'm going to show this person what this artwork I did. And if you have to show someone to feel good, you're hooked. Like you're a slave to them. You're making all of your love decisions go through them. You're giving them the right of refusal about whether or not you're lovable. And that, yes, it happens by by accident how we fall in those things or over centuries. But the reality is, if you're not happy right here, right now, without anyone in the room, you're not evolved.
Right.
All right, it's a good way to end it.
You're not centered either. And isn't it funny how we say, oh, they're self-centered, how people like deem as a negative? Usually selfish people in a negative sense say someone who's focusing on themselves is self-centered. But since when to be centering with yourself a negative thing? right?
No, I mean, I think it's all designed to like fuck with your head so you don't get there and your opponent can win.
Right. But usually people who are like, usually people who need those people, the selfish people that need someone else will call them self-centered when they're actually are centered themselves. So being self-centered is actually the ideal, is where you want to be.
A good thing. It's like, you athlete winning the Olympics, always focused on you, always focused on nutrition. You're so selfish. Yeah, you're like,
what else am I supposed to do? Forget about my own life and focus on you? Well, who's the selfish one here, right? So,
yeah, exactly. Let me entertain you. That's what I'm here born for. So, that's it. I'm entertaining you. Scott, you've got a show tomorrow night.
Yeah, we talked about it already.
Oh, one more preview. Okay. I will say in my final barking, we do have at Serious Joy the 40 Days of Self-Love. That's free to anyone who subscribes to SeriousJoy.com right now. It's a journal exercise. You do it every day, and you'll come out smelling like roses. And you just have to see for yourself. And if you don't do it, well, then stop whining, okay? And then secondly, we have Intro to Step Astrology courses. The first time I've ever taught these things. This is the Jedi Force. There's some magic here. If you think you've heard it all, no. I've actually only revealed this much of the step system, and it goes this deep. So we're going to start digging in some of the secrets of this class. That's at SeriousJoy.academy. Okay?
Audio Jungle.
Are you a practitioner looking to move your life's work into the spotlight? Do you have that special magic that makes you stand out? Serious Joy is now auditioning for its new Practitioner of the Week segment on Namaste Today. Sensei Christopher is looking to highlight qualified lightworkers with a promo short dedicated to raising awareness about your gifts. Interested? Contact Jenny at intuitive.com to apply for an audition and get ready to shake what your spirit gave you.
Okay.
Shake what your spirit gave you. It's like shake what your mama gave you. That's what it reminds me of every time I hear that song. Remember, shake what your mama gave you. Remember that from the 90s? Do you remember that song?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No,
Shake
I don't
your
remember. If I heard it, I probably would. Not your version, but if I heard it. Well, I think that's it for our show, Scott. We're out of time. It's always a pleasure
You're wrapping it up
with you. Yeah. We'll be back next week, and we'll be helping you shift through the shift show. Until then, remember,